All right, welcome back to our Emergency Preparedness channel. Today we're going to be talking about a really important item to have in your emergency kit. In fact, the most important item to have in your emergency kit. We have a special guest back with us today. We're going to have Alexander coming to help us. It's always good to have a young, strong man to help us. So we're going to be talking about water. So that's the most important need you have in an emergency kit. Now, the recommendation is that you typically need to have 1 gallon of water to drink each day, and you might need some other water for other things. So if we're doing a 3-day kit, that means you need 3 gallons of water. So let's start here. We're going to do a little quick test here. Alexander, how much do you think a gallon of water weighs?
15 pounds.
15 pounds. Okay, great guess. Let's find out. So we have a scale here that we're going to use. We turn that on. Got it on pounds. We got some handy gallons of water sitting here. So we'll see how much that weighs. So how much does a gallon of water weigh today?
8.5.
About 8.5 pounds. Okay. So if we have 3 gallons of water, then how much does that weigh? 3 gallons of water.
27-ish pounds.
Yeah.
26 pounds.
Okay. So that's quite a bit of weight. So for an emergency, 3-day emergency kit, here's how much water you would need. This much water. Does that look like something you want to carry?
No.
Okay, well, let's find out. Let's see. Okay, we've got a backpack here. Let's see if we can put in all this weight. So let's see how you feel about that. So now we're going to put this 3 gallons in. Okay, kind of fun. I think we can get it in this way. Okay, that kind of fills up that whole backpack about. Right, let's put that on. How do you? He's a young, strong guy, so I know he can carry this pretty easy. But say we're having to walk somewhere, how would you feel about carrying that weight?
I mean, this alone is fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you said this alone. We know from previous discussions that this is not all you need in there, but based on what I just saw, that took up almost all the weight that's all the space in the backpack. So this doesn't look like the right way to go. So we're going to talk about some other options because this isn't what we probably want to do. But I am going to ask you one last question. If you're going to go on a backpacking trip, what is the kind of weight you're trying to get your backpack to?
30 pounds.
30 pounds?
Or less.
Yeah. So we're already about the weight you would ever want to get to, and you haven't even put anything else in your backpacks. Okay, we just learned with our exercise with Alexander that it's not very practical to carry that amount of weight of 3 gallons of water, which is the water you need for 3 days. That's not practical to carry that in your backpack. So if you're doing something else, then maybe you could have 3 gallons in a car or something. But in a lot of emergencies, you can't count on having that car with wherever you might be needing to go. So let's talk about other ways that you can have that water and still be prepared. So a good way to do that is to have some water bottles. Here's a couple of options. These are both close to a quart. So with 2 water bottles, that gives you about 1/6 of the water that you need for an emergency kit. Now we recommend that you have still a couple of options of water in your pack, just in case one of your bottles gets lost or damaged. So don't rely on just one container in your backpack. Here's some emergency water packets. They don't hold very much, but they give you a little bit of water, so that's something good that you can have in your pack. And those aren't very practical for putting more water in after you use it. Those are really just for emergency. You have some water that you're carrying, which is important. You always need to have some of that with you. But then you need some options for purifying the water. And I've got a couple of options here that I can show you. This one is just a bag that you dip into the water, and it has a filter inside of it that allows you to squeeze the water into your water bottle. So that filter purifies it. You unscrew that filter out, unscrew the filter out, and then fill this with water, put the filter back in, and then squirt the water into your bottle. That's one of the easiest ways to do that. So that's one option. Here's another option. So if you take this, the reason this bottle is so good is this is a quart, but it also has multiple options for ways you can use it. So this filter attaches to the top of the bottle, and then you drop the hose into water, and it filters, and you pump it into your bottle. So those are a couple of options. A third good option, this doesn't take much weight, are some tablets, purifying tablets. These are pretty easy to use. You throw a couple of tablets in a quart of water, you shake it up after a few minutes, and then you have to let it sit for about 30 minutes. One of these little bottles will purify about 25 gallons. Since this is the most critical item in your pack, then we recommend at least backups. So one is at least 2 bottles in your pack so that you don't, if you lose one or you break one, then you have another one as an option. Second one is at least 2 ways to purify water. All right, so let's see how much all of this would weigh if we had this water plus the filters. Okay, so this water bottle is about 2.5 pounds. This water bottle is about 1.7 pounds. You can see that one's not quite a quart, so. And then this filter system, maybe 1/4 pound. This filter is just about 1 pound. And of course, this is negligible weight. So between all of those, we're less than what it weighed for obviously a gallon of water. We're within 6 or 7 pounds here. So that's important because now we're down weight, and if we try to put this in the backpack, so let's spend a minute putting this in the backpack. Remember when we were working with Alexander that water took up the entire space of the backpack. But if we put this water in, there's pockets for water bottles, put the filters in the middle. We can even put this filter in one of these pockets here. So we've got quite a bit of good space. And we still have all this space in the middle for other things that are important that we'll be talking about in future videos, like the food and other emergency items. So it's a good way to do 2 things. One, it's not smart to just carry all that water because you need some way to purify more water as you go. And it might be more than 3 gallons that you need. So as you're going, drinking water is 3 gallons. But one of the other things you'll need water for is also to cook food, maybe to clean, do those things. So over the course of just even 72 hours, you will need more than 3 gallons of water. So swapping out some of that weight for filtering is really important. So giving you some ideas here today for how to get that first item, most important item in your emergency kit. Make sure you do that. That's fairly easy to do. If you have some water bottles around the house, put them in a backpack or in a bag and get that kit going. There's one last item that we should offer you as an item for purifying water, and that is to boil water. That should always be a good option. We'll talk about matches and other ways to do fire or to boil water in future video, but that should be one of your primary options as well. Thanks again for joining us today, and we hope we've helped you prepare your emergency kit for anything that might happen. Stay safe out there.